Well, hello, it's Monday. How is everybody doing? Welcome to the Land Timber Stream. It is day 435 on this journey towards the CCIE, routing and switching. Hope you're having a good week kickoff. Mine went really well. Got some good stuff done, both at work and on my study plans. So yeah, the title of this, Adios QoS for now. Hello, Infrastructure Security. It's not really adios or goodbye. It's really just moving on to another section of the INA workbook. So finished up the QoS, all the labs this weekend. I didn't stream yesterday. I did lab yesterday. Just was not really conducive to streaming. But yeah, got it all done. So. Also, yesterday I started to do the foundation labs again. I didn't get through all of it. I got about halfway through it. I'd forgotten about some of the issues with layer 2, with the images, the viral images like the LACP I have issues with. So I switched it to PAGP, and also I had issues with trunking on one. It was weird, and I've seen this before. It's not like this is new, but I had an issue where the switch port was configured as a static trunk, but and it was saying that administrative mode was static trunk, but the operational mode was static access. So it just never did. The switch port never did switch, and so anyway, I finally figured out, shut, no shut, fix that little anomaly, but that cost me some time. But yeah, I got a good bit of it done, and it felt good. So I want to do a little bit of review before I started hitting the next section in the workbook. But yeah, just a couple of quick things before we start playing with security in some of the labs here. We're going to do some AAA labs, hopefully. Yeah, the Cisco Live is heating up. Plans for Cisco Live are heating up. So just like we did last year in the Discord channel for the first time, this year we're doing year 2. We added a Cisco Live 2019 private channel. And so this is for mainly CLUS, of course, Cisco Live US in San Diego. If you're going to San Diego and would like to meet up with any of the fine members of our little study community on Discord, definitely go to the link here you see in the chat. And let us know that you're going to Cisco Live 2019 and that you'd like to hang out. Or at least, even if, I think we're going to try to see if some of us can meet up. Now, some of us are going to get there Saturday night and try to meet up. And then Sunday, I'm going to arrive Saturday just so I have a little time in San Diego. And because Sunday, I'm going to schedule an exam for Sunday. So... and I'm going to check in, get my materials, get located, all that kind of stuff. Because the 4 days, Monday through Thursday go by so fast that I want to have that day to just kind of prepare and also take that exam, which is no small thing. So yeah, that's going to be my Sunday, and so I wanted to arrive a day early. So some of us are going to get together, and then maybe Tuesday night, some of us might shoot for like a dinner. Land Timbers type dinner like we did last year. We had a nice big table last year. Had a lot of fun. Got to meet people in person. And for a number of us, it was our first time as well. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, as I mentioned, my progress on the workbook, it's going well. I finished the QoS lab, the last QoS lab finally, about a month and a half past schedule, but that's okay. Because QoS is tough. QoS is hard. And we might make up some ground on the workbook in this section. Because, again, a lot of this is, to be honest, folks, like QoS, for example, is not hard science, but it's like science, right? Principles, technology, this security, some people, they get real excited about security. I'm not one of those people, but, we're going to do the best we can. I understand the principles of this stuff already pretty well. For the most part, I say that. But this is just going to be a matter of going through how to configure this stuff, right? Some of this I have configured in production. I've configured in the labs before. It's just going to be a matter of, this is like manager. So you got your, bleeding edge, not bleeding edge, but you got your sort of sciencey engineering part of the workbook, and then you've got your sort of administrative manager type, go and put the management hat on. And we're just, putting our policies and things in place for security, right? But that's part of it. Got to do it. So, and I did not do too well in this part of the written. The first 2 times around, I did better in the third time. So anyway, we're going to get into that. And I'm going to take a few days, probably not going to do it here on stream, but as I finish any section of this workbook, any major technology area, I want to go back over the blueprint and make sure I'm covered. Are there any areas of the blueprint that were missed in the INE workbook and the networklessons.com in the QoS exam guide? We're going to see. And also continue to catch up on flashcards. I don't know if I'll ever catch up, because I'm going to add some new ones tonight as well, but that is ongoing. And then security strategies. So each time I hit a new section, also, I try to develop sort of a strategy of, how do I need to attack this section of the blueprint? And I've already sort of alluded to that. I don't think I need to do a lot of underlying study like I did for QoS. So QoS had to read a book, essentially, before doing a lot of the labs. And that took the first month plus. Not going to do that with this section. This section, we're just going to, I think my strategy is going to be, try to learn commands I'm not familiar with, get more familiar with the commands I'm not familiar with, and use the configuration guide. So I've already pulled that up here. And we're just going to go through the security section. We got securing user services. And we're just going to go through here and see what I need to see for examples. And we're just going to try to memorize that stuff. As I get new commands that I'm not familiar with or that I need to learn, we're just going to pop them here as a flashcard and move on. So, yeah, I hope to finish. It's May 6th, but I really hope to finish this by the end of May, to be honest. That's my goal. All right, so let's hit on some, one other thing. Yeah, so this photo is, of course, this is from the latest mission of NASA's mission in cooperation with SpaceX. That's from SpaceX site. Really cool stuff. You see the stage 1 booster rocket coming back to Earth. I think that's the initial atmospheric burn, but yeah, pretty cool photo there from, that was Saturday, early Saturday, I believe. And I watched it, of course, this weekend. I watched pretty much all of the SpaceX webcasts, whatever you want to call them, broadcasts. Either live if I can. If not, I watch them the next day or the day after. And it was spot on. It was great. All right, so let's get into this first lab here. And I think for this, we got to do a little setup, don't we? So for this lab, AA authentication. Standard disclaimer, folks, these are not my labs. I don't show the workbook on screen. If you want to get your own copy of the workbook, definitely hit ine.com. You can find the workbook, and I think it's $300 before any sort of discounts or deals. Definitely worth it. Check it out. But again, not my labs. I don't show this on screen. I don't show the explanation, all the requirements, word for word, the explanation, the screenshots. Purchase a workbook to do that. So, is there a way to get notified of the SpaceX live streams? Hey, Crisco762. So I think there is. I follow on Twitter. That's where basically I see when they've got a live stream coming. But they do broadcast on YouTube. They may do Facebook, I don't know. And I know you can turn on the alarm bell to be notified. Now, I am one, just so you all know, like, in general, I turn all notifications off, like my PC, my phone, They annoy me for some reason, for the most part. Now, of course, that doesn't prevent you from turning on notifications for our channel here, but you can turn on notifications. So if you go youtube.com SpaceX, you can hit this little bell right here. And if you have YouTube app on your phone and you allow notifications, I think then your phone, it would create a notification on your phone when they're streaming. So you could do that, but yeah, or you could just follow them on Twitter. I follow NASA, I follow a bunch of those. But yeah, it's good stuff. Love the space stuff. Yeah, I gotta smash that bell. Most notifications are the root of all evil, my view. So, like even email notification. I mean, I don't like to be interrupted that way, especially when I'm studying a lot. But some people love them. So we need to look at security initial. So there's a little lab setup we need to do here. And let's see, yesterday I was working in the Azure lab. Let me see what routers we're using here. Looks like we're just playing with router 1. So to be honest, I'm okay with just, I'll use the local PC here. Do some EvenG Pro. Yeah, it's interesting too on in the configuration guides. So I was looking at this earlier. There's like 4 that fall sort of in with some sort of form of the word security. Secure connectivity, that's like DMVPN, VPN. Securing user services, I think this is where we'll be spending a lot of our time. And then securing the data plane. And sure enough, I came here and the first one I saw was AAA, Authentication, Authorization, and Accounting. Radius is in here, TACAX, that's part of, we got user security. So yeah, we'll probably be spending a lot of time in here. So let's fire up the old lab. And we will need the configs for, this is a new initial configuration. So I have the INE configs here. You see I was playing with Foundation Labs yesterday. Advanced technology, and it's going to be security initial. So this is going to be our, so we'll go ahead and set up for that. INE, we'll start a new folder here. Add folder, here we go. That's right, it's a little not the most user, that's not normally where you put a place add folder, but we're going to do security. And we'll just copy any old lab here. Well, let's see, the topology. Reference the advanced technology labs with addressing diagram. Okay, so it's the standard configuration. I thought I had like a base INE. Guess I don't. I guess it doesn't matter. So we'll just take the QoS one, copy it, clone, and move to INE security. And we'll call it security initial. Go ahead and open it up, or edit. No, not edit. We'll open. And we'll put our configs in here. Startup configs. Starting with router 1. Let's see if this is using the format I need here. Good, gigabit 0 /. That's what I want. Okay, and then I don't know why that happens. Why does that happen? Why is end on here? Weird. Okay, then router 2, take all this config out. I think I can just upload, but will it just upload the config file? I don't know. Advanced technology. Security initial. R2. Yeah, it does work. Okay. End. Where's the end coming from? Don't know. All right, router 3. Load. Four. I did not make it to the gym this morning, folks, because as you know, or may know, Game of Thrones was an amazing show last night, so that kept me up later than normal, past my bedtime. Router 7. Of course, we'll only have to do this once. I don't know if I have to actually click save on those other ones. I guess I do. And I'm guessing that pretty much replaces what is there. Router 9, upload. Yeah, I imagine it would. Router 10. I don't know if this is a feature of just Pro or not, to be honest. First time I've ever I think, actually tried to use this feature. And these are not using the correct interfaces. Oh boy. Well, I don't think I need those right now, so. We're gonna put a blank config here for right now, so we know we need to update it. Yeah, I would just say off. Hey, Zora, with that Prime sub. Coming to the Prime sub on a Monday. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the support here in Land Tamer Stream. Enjoy your good bits, your emote. And again, I really appreciate that Prime sub. And folks, if you're not aware, yeah, if you have Amazon Prime, which by all accounts, about half of U.S. citizens seem to, you get one free Twitch Prime sub account a month that expires at the end of each month that you just renew. So Zora, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the good bits here on the stream. Yeah, I tend to get, it's funny, I've looked before at some certain time slots, like I stream Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m., and it varies on the weekend, and we're just going to boot a router 1 here. Oh, I need to clone this first. Let's close the lab. And we're going to clone it and call this AAA. The other one will kind of be our template. Yeah, it's interesting. Like Mondays seem to be a pretty active day in terms of people checking out the stream, and Thursdays as well. Thursdays seem to be a little more, have more people watching. And then when the weekend, since the weekend, no one really knows when I'm going to start streaming, including myself, until I do. Usually the first, the first minutes of the stream has very few, and then the weekend I tend to get quite a few viewers that will come on and just check it out. So yeah, Mondays are tend to, and it's funny, when you go to the Publix, to the grocery store, if you didn't get your grocery shopping in on the weekend, like you should have, which we did not. And you go, and Mondays tend to be kind of crowded, right? Mondays at the grocery store after work. All right, so AAA. I would love to say that I already know the commands for AAA. I do not. I could probably get through it on the parser. Have configured AAA extensively in my career, but it's not very often. Typically, for example, when you do a set of routers, you'll do a template, and then you figure out what you need in the template, and then cookie cutter, right? It's not like you're actively using the command. But here are requirements for this lab. A, authentication lists. R1 should use AttackAxe plus server. 51.146.100 and encrypt using key value Cisco. Okay. Source from L0. Configure router so that access to console line uses local auth. User admin, password Cisco. Should be pretty easy. VTY lines use TACAX plus with fallback to line authentication. Interesting. For Cisco lowercase, we have a menagerie here of settings. It's good. It's getting exposed to all the different modes. Privilege mode, authentication. First, TACAX, fallback to local password of Cisco, lowercase. Oh boy, customize the prompts for AAA authentication. Change default banner and authentication failure message. This should be fun. I have not ever done that, but I've seen admins who did. Not the failure. Yeah, I've seen admins do the failure banner, although that has been rare in my career to see that. But anyway, here we go. So let's refer to the Cisco guide, configuration guides. And just under AAA, we have, here's message banners. TACACS, IPv6. I think it should be a general one, right? Configuring authentication. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to have, let's say router 1, a new model, death by hyphenation here. Oh, okay, got that one. Creates a local authentication list. You know, so often I've done using the default list. I've not actually used, well, maybe I have. Let me think about this here. Nice little cutoff here. Not sure what's going on with the Cisco docs. The default keyword uses a listed authentication methods that follow this keyword as a default list of methods when a user logs in. The list name argument is a character string used to name the list of authentication methods activated when a user logs in. The password expiry keyword name is password aging. Method identifies a list of methods the authentication algorithm tries in a given sequence. Ah, okay, that's why we need a list, right? So here's an example. It's probably all I need. So a new model, a authentication login. We need to define our TACACS server first. Let's do that. And that is going to be, is that listed here? See, configure LDAP, configure LDAX plus feature. Well, guess what? Do they even have that? I see it for TACACS plus for IPv6. Yeah, thanks a lot. That's okay. I know we need TACACS server. And we're going to need the parser for this. So let's go ahead and we also have to specify the interface, right? HIV interface brief. Okay, those interfaces are up. Tunnel 0, loopback 0 is up. Make this a little small, easier to read, hopefully. And here we go. So we're going to do TACACS server. Yep. And then customize select. Yeah, we need a group, right? Let's see, TACACS. Domain stripping. I'm not sure what that is. Is it attribute? No. Well, let's go back to our config guide then. Yeah, why would we need a maybe it's under here. Oh, here's some better information maybe. A authorization methods, TACACS plus. Group TACACS plus. Okay. Yeah, A authorization network default group TACX plus. But you have no TACX plus configuration guide for IPv4. This, you know what? This may be just an exercise in typical utility. So let's go to networklessons.com for some real world knowledge on how to configure TACX. Now that is radius. Okay, TACX server. This is what I'm accustomed to. I was going to say I could log onto a router. TACX server host. Yes, it doesn't even. Maybe you have to configure a new model first. A authenticate. Well, let's do TACX. Really? AA authentication login default group. So the TACX server host command is gone. Interesting. Are we going to go to the community forum here, see if there's any help? Huh. Well, I'm going to look at the answer guide then. I'm not going to. Do you have to enter the host interface first? Maybe so. IP TACX source interface L0. I think use global command before it is deprecated now. TACX server. A authentication enable default group TACX plus enable. Yeah, I know, right? Subsection. show run enable. Do we have an enable password on here? Enable secret. So we're going to go through here until we see what triggers the host command. Okay, it's still not there. Authentication, login, console, local. Yeah, it doesn't, it's still not giving me TACAX server administration. Starts TACAX daemon handling administrative messages. Okay. TACAX server. Well, how do you do it on IP6 then? Wow, this is really... Either my materials are really out of date, or Cisco's (2007). This is version 11.2. That's really old. All right, here's Cisco iOS 15 M&T. Identifying the TACAX server host. The TACAX server host command will be deprecated soon. You can use the server command instead. Well, okay, so my materials are really out of date. My study materials. Server. Okay, maybe you can't. Those 10 minutes of my life will never get back. So here's the thing. You can still do some things under TACAX-server, but alas, not name the server itself. Why would we deprecate this command and replace it with the TACAX space server command? I don't get it. Yeah, and the INE workbook is out of date as well. It must be using a... This lab must have been created with a older version of iOS. So TACAX server host. I think the name for the TACAX server configuration is going to be TACAX 1. And then address. Jeez Louise. Oh, excuse me, IPv4. Now that I can respect. And then we need to configure the key. Okay, Cisco. How about the message? No, that's under AA command. So you're saying create a AA server group. Well, you do radius, right? AA. And that's where I'm familiar with too, because don't a lot of people use, well, a lot of people are using ICE these days, right? And even though TACAX has more features than Radius on the Cisco routers, I think, isn't ICE configured as, well, no, it's used as TACAX, right? I'll have to look. Okay, so anyway, all right, so going back to our requirements. R1, we use TACAX Plus to encrypt using value Cisco. Okay, I think we've got that worked out. Show run section TACAX. IP TACAX source interface loopback 0. Okay. No TACAX server administration. I don't think we need that. So here's the thing. This is what, a configuration guide? It is. So this is great. Why is this not located under unless I just looked in the wrong section? Yeah, it's not in the data plane. The most natural place for me to look would be here. TACAX Plus configuration guide. And configuring TACAX. Okay, how did I miss that before? I think I was looking under AAA. That's the problem. Yeah. So why is there... AA group server? Okay, yeah, that sounds more familiar to me. Because you're not going to have just one server, right? Well, hopefully not. So this is what's misleading. I look under AAA, and I'm thinking, okay, TACAX is covered under here. Here's TACAX over IPv6. But no, you actually have to go leave AAA and go to this link here, TACAX Plus Configuration Guide. So it is in the guide. But why would IPv6 not be covered under here? Why would it not be listed here instead of, I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's look at this. AAA group server. Ah, yes. See, I think this, yes, this is what I'm more familiar with. Okay, yeah, if we were using a group of servers, which you should not have just one. Yeah, global config is kind of old school. Yeah, you're going to want to have multiple, you might want to load balance, you might want to, or at least have failover, right? I have seen, sorry, I'm going to adjust to, so some more soda here. Yeah, I can already tell though, this is going to be security. This is kind of going to be par for the course for security. And it's all going to be about memorization by rote. And it's not going to be the most exciting section for me by any means. Like, this is nails on the chalkboard section for me, but you got to do it. I've always said, like, when people were asking me about this last job, the job I'm at now, when I was recruiting at that time, everybody said, why don't you do security? guys, you know, there's jobs right now and you make it. I'm like, no, thank you. Granted, we do security every day and networking, right? But just security stuff is like, all right. So anyway, we right along. TechX Plus. So I think this covers these requirements, but yes, you would use a group server. And again, the command, why they'd not give you an option to configure a group under the TechX keyword, I don't know, but I get it. All right, so some of the other requirements are the INE lab is definitely broke though. It does not work. The INE workbook answer. R1 use TechX Plus. Okay, we've got that. Configure routers so the access console line uses local authentication. So I think that's pretty simple. I think I have that. Line console 0 and login authentication default. Do we have default defined already, I believe. Oh, so it's TACX plus then local is a default group. We just want to use local. So we could use another list. Yeah, so let's create another list. AA authentication, login, console. And we're going to use local. Is it a user or just a password? One of these was just a password. Okay, local user. Then line console. Authentication. Login, authentication, console. Okay, that should work. What other requirements? That should take care of that. BTY lines use TACAX with fallback to line authentication. So we actually need to put a password on the line. Well, I'm not sure if we do that on the line itself. Line VTY015. Yeah, we can put a password. It's going to be, I think it's lowercase Cisco. But we're going to do login, authentication, default. Wait, is that going to work? Because it's saying TACAX with fallback to local password, not fallback to the local user authentication. So we actually need a new line. AA authentication BTY. A login. Oh my gosh. Authentication. Yeah, thank you. VTY. And it will be group. No, we're not using a group. VTY group. TACAX. It says use a list of all. So I guess that's any TACAX servers we have defined. I'm going to go with that. Then we're going to use line. Then line VTY015. And it will be login, authentication, VTY. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. Privilege mode, authentication. Okay, this first TACAX, fallback to local. Okay. Which we already have, that's our default list. Enable. How do we do that? Authentication, enable, default. Okay. Oh, default. So this is a separate list, I guess. And what does it want us to use here? TACAX, then the enable password. Group, TACAX, plus, and then enable. Okay, I think that is that. Customize the prompts. For user authentication and success, authentication and failure. So I saw that in here. Message banners. Okay, here we go. So we have a authentication banner. C message. Okay, we'll use a delimiter. What I normally use for delimiter? I normally use question mark. Oh, I had to do this. Question mark. No, it doesn't. Question mark. Yeah, it doesn't let me do that. That's fine. We will do pound, maybe. Log in here, man. A authentication. Fail message. Intrusion has been logged. Obtain an attorney. These messages always sound so ominous, but how many times it actually resulted in? I know sometimes it has, but all right. So I think we have all these requirements. Let's check the answer key. All right, enable secret. We have an enable secret. A username admin. We have that. A new model. Then there are two lines. There's a authentication login console local. There's a VTY group TACAX line. A authentication enabled, default group TACACS enable. Yep. I guess I did have one too many lines. I didn't actually need. I ended up with 2 lines to do the same thing. So this default group and the VTY group do the same thing. So that is true. A authentication. Oh, they do something different here. So this says, oh, Control V if you want to type literal. Thank you, Crisco. Sometimes it will tell you that on the command line, but it did not do that in this case. Let's try it. Conf T. Thank you, by the way, for that. A authentication user name prompt. Okay. This does not use a delimiter though, but we could do Control V, right? Haha. Your user. Yes, that's correct. I'm gonna make a flashcard for that. Seems like the thing they might add in an exam. Ignore key. The ignore key combination for iOS parser. For special characters on the iOS parser, and that is Control plus V, similar to in regex. And we'll put that under security. That's actually a universal thing, but it's good. We're going to be adding some more flashcards for security. A authentication password prompt. I've heard of people doing like mean jokes to their coworkers with this stuff. Like change the prompt for the password to be your user and they annoyingly get locked out. Yeah. Enter your pass, Dodo. Oh, the banner I did not do. Yeah, I did do the banner and the fail message. Okay. Yeah, so this is what is in the INE answer key. Which, as we know, this has been deprecated. This will not work. You have to do space server host to go into configuration mode. Just calling it out. I could put feedback on this form, actually. I just figured that out. They have a feedback form right here. And as much as I complain about it, I might as well put feedback in here. The TACACS server host command has been deprecated in so I have the options for feedback: bug, new feature, hardware issue. Guess I'll put bug. I've never done that, so let's see what happens. And then what else? Line con 0. Let me see what I have. Show run section console. Login authentication. Okay, that's what they have. Good. All right. That will conclude the first lab in security. We got through it. It's going to be a bit of a grind for this month, but we'll get through it. I'm going to go ahead and create some flashcards. It's about 8, so I need to wrap it up. Thanks so much for hanging out, folks, here. Thanks for the sub and the chats, and as always, the support. Send everybody good bits. It is Monday, so hopefully you've got your plans together for this week in terms of what you're going to accomplish in the lab and or in your studies. So wish you the best. We'll be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll look at, let's see, what's on tap here. Let's actually just look at the other labs. So we got AA, exec authorization, local command authorization. This is going to be interesting. Traffic filtering, user standard, extended ACLs. I wonder if there'll be anything new here. Filtering fragmented packets. I think I know where that is. Time-based ACLs, done that. Traffic filter PBR. So this is getting into like filtering traffic, which I don't know, maybe there'll probably be new stuff in here, sneaky stuff, knowing INE. Preventing packet spoofing with URPF, that's good. Good lab there, I'm sure. Using AMBAR for content-based matching, done a little bit of that already. Packet logging with access lists, done that before. VLAN filtering for IP and non-IP, done that. Port security, HSRP and port security, this will be interesting. Curious where that's going. HTTP snooping, information option, have done labs on that before. Dynamic ARP, IP source guard. Catalyst ingress access list, done that before. Controlling terminal line access. OS login enhancements, role-based CLI. This will be interesting. ISP messages rate, yeah, that's over control plane policing. And there you go, control plane policing. iOS ACL selective IP option drop. Okay, those are the IP options. And PHP generic TTL security. So this is really a menagerie of things that have been covered. A lot of these have been covered already, except for AAA. AA, of course, I would expect to see here, and the layer 2 stuff. But good, it'll be good stuff. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up, folks. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Sending you good bits. We shall see you back here tomorrow, same time, here on the Land Tamer stream. Have a good night.